It's not homophobia if it's Billie Piper.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dr. What? I'm Jeanette.
And I'm Sara.
And today we are talking about Aliens of London, the only episode of Doctor Who so far that has actively made me go, what the fuck? From the very beginning and also all the way through, in a good way. Wow.
I have been waiting to cover this episode. I have been so excited to talk about this with you. It's one of those episodes that is like known for being just like really bad. And when I first watched it, I was like, what the fuck is this? And it nearly turned me off Doctor Who like forever. And now that I've revisited it, it is a camp masterpiece. I think it's so good. I love it so much.
People think this episode's bad?
People
really
do not like this episode.
That's insane to me. This episode is quite literally a culmination of everything that we've been talking about in this podcast so far. Like all of our analysis on the Doctor and like how we've been talking about his and Rose's relationship and how that's all going to come to a head. It's all in this episode, and it's only part one of a cliffhanger, like part two-parter.
Yeah. Oh my
People
God.
don't like it?
They don't like the Slitheen. They think that they're like really cheesy. I think it's just like the cheese of it all isn't to everyone's taste, especially when you compare it to like other episodes of Doctor Who that are like just genuinely like very good.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But like, come on.
Come on! Well, before we get too much into it, since I already spilled my mouth about some of my thoughts, I think I'll give the episode synopsis for you at home who haven't seen it, which you should watch it. And then, Sarah, you can regale us with some fun facts.
Yay.
All right, so, in this episode, Rose returns home to discover that she has been missing for a whole year, although for her, it's been a couple of days. However, before she can explain her absence, a spaceship crashes into Big Ben, causing a worldwide crisis. Worse still, the Prime Minister has mysteriously disappeared. The Doctor's investigation puts him in the spotlight with the British government, as his long history of defending Earth finally catches up with him. But there are sinister goings-on at 10 Downing Street, and politician Harriet Jones's quest to get some answers brings her into a brave new world of aliens. Meanwhile, Rose finds trouble closer to home as her past mistakes threaten to tear her family apart.
That's a pretty good synopsis, and the voice was
very
amazing.
Good synopsis. Oh, thank you. I'll be here all week. I'll be here all night. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I feel like it doesn't reveal too much as opposed to other synopses that we've read.
The voice really made it.
Oh, thank you. The New World of Aliens.
Whoa. Okay, so this episode was written by the showrunner at the time, Russell T Davies. So I found it so cute that like the title is a clear riff off of Werewolves of London. And also, when I was searching up fun facts, I came across a whole wiki page dedicated to what's called the Aliens of London controversy. Originally, I thought it was gonna be like, I don't know, like one of the writers like killed someone, but it's not that. So Rose, she comes back after being gone for a year, but in future episodes that are supposed to be set in like contemporary times, it's like there's like lots of little references to the fact that like this episode is taking place at the time of broadcast when it's supposed to be like a year in the future because of the precedent that like Aliens of London set. So this episode just creates like a ripple effect of like continuity issues because like the writers just like forgot that like it's a year in the future now.
Damn.
Yeah, it's like nothing big. Like when I first watched it, I didn't even realize, but it's just kind of like a funny little thing that like Doctor Who fans noticed and decided to make an entire wiki page about, listing like every single time that there's like a reference to the time period and the fact that it's incorrect because of Aliens of London.
That's so funny.
I know.
I love that.
It's so Whovian. And I wanted to point out, did you notice the bad wolf graffiti on the side of the TARDIS in the beginning of the episode?
I did. I
Okay. And
did.
remember Gwyneth last episode when she was like the big bad wolf when she was looking into Rose's mind?
Oh, I don't remember that, but that's awesome. Oh my
Yes.
God.
So keep an eye out for that.
The connections. We're making them. Oh my goodness. I love an Easter egg. I love an Easter egg. Man, this is really. I still can't believe people don't like this episode. But forget what other people think. What did you like about this episode, and what didn't you like?
Okay. I love it when Rose like calls the doctor gay.
That I literally I have a sticky note like on my computer that has all the notes that I took while watching the episode, and I wrote "You're so gay," all caps, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Wow, early 2000s homophobia.
No, early 2000s homophobia, I feel like at this point it has circled back around to just being like really funny.
No, exactly. Like, you're so gay. Like,
Like, damn, okay, she just said that.
literally, that was crazy.
I wonder, do you think Rose Tyler has like ever said like the F slur? I don't know, like if we can say that on the podcast, so I'm not gonna.
Well, I mean, I bet she has because she's from Britain and isn't slang for like a like a
T,
cigarette.
yeah,
So
so
she's probably
true.
like, oh, I got smoke a F slur. I actually, I don't know because we can curse, right? Like I said cunt and fuck, but is a slur that we can reclaim, is that appropriate for our I don't know.
I like. We should put a poll. Can we say the British word for cigarettes? Because it's
Community poll.
yeah, because it is like, I don't know, like if we get a lot of like British listeners, if Billie Piper hears this, we'll ask her.
If Billie Piper gives us the okay to say the F slur, I mean, I don't think I'll ever stop. I think I'll say it every day of my life.
Eh, like to my knowledge, Billie Piper is cis and straight, but I feel like she can reclaim it.
Because she serves. Because she's a beacon of the gay community. Like,
I don't even know if she is. Like, I just really like her. She was so
or her
cute in this
fit slayed in
episode.
this episode. Yes, it
When
was so
she
cute.
when she's like looking at Mickey and she's like, I did miss you, and she's like doing that thing, like I was like, oh my God, like I wouldn't be able to continue being mean to her after that. Like she was so cute.
So adorable. Like, love forever. But yeah, all F slurs aside, so you really liked when she called the doctor gay. Do you got anything else?
I love it. I loved the confrontation between Jackie Tyler and the doctor. Gold.
That was also my favorite part, for sure.
Stitch this, mate. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like that's just no one's ever gonna
You
top that.
literally, you waltz in here all charms and smiles, and then you whatever. It was just so good. It was such a great, like, what are you, 40, 45? Like you running around, like it was so good. Such a righteous defense of her daughter. I You really saw all the really great parts of Jackie in this episode.
Yes. The way I have so many like thoughts, but just like the way that Rose is like, I can't tell you. I've just been traveling. And then the doctor is like, "Yeah, it's my fault. Like, I've employed her as a companion." And her mom is like, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean you've been traveling as this random ass old man's companion and you won't tell me where you've been and you've been gone for a year and you just forgot to
Literally.
call? Like, it's such an insane
Literally.
situation, and I'm so glad that they like brought Rose back down to earth and had just like everyone confront her. Like, it was so needed.
Exactly. Exactly. And in the same vein, I just loved how tenderly, because it almost reads like when Jackie is talking to Rose about it, she's like, "What is so bad that you can't tell me?" Like, what it really reads like she thinks that she's been like abused or something. And it was just such like a heartfelt interaction where it's like, I really feel for you, and it hurts me that you can't tell me because I love you so much. Like, I wish you could open up. Like, so good. But then, in the same vein of like, thank God Rose is being brought back down to earth, Mickey in this episode.
Mickey Defense Squad, unite!
Unite! I was just flabbergasted. I didn't even think, I mean, and nobody thinks of Mickey after the first episode except for perhaps my good friend Sarah. But when she got back, I was like, oh my god, of course they targeted Mickey as a reason for Rose's disappearance. That must have been so shitty for him. Especially, I won't even get into the whole thing about the fact that he is, a person of color in the very, white, rest of the show. That's so fucked up. It's so fucked up that she just, left him behind. And, I mean, obviously it's not her fault that she was gone for so long. That's the doctor. But, oh my god, I really felt for Mickey. Even when he was getting on Rose's ass, I was like, no, it's so justified. It's so justified.
Dude, 100%. And when the doctor is you see the doctor in a totally different light here when he's teasing
Yes.
Mickey in a sort of similar way he's teased Rose in the past, but I feel like it definitely cuts deeper and is a little more targeted with him.
Yeah.
I am not taken by the doctor's charm at all here.
Mm-mm.
I was totally on Mickey's side. He was so fucking
Yeah.
mean to him. He insists on calling him the wrong name and is so
Yeah.
shitty to him about the fact that he's in his spaceship and is you couldn't even begin to understand what I'm doing with the TARDIS right now. Even though Mickey is just
shut
being
up.
curious. Yeah. Man.
It's just really evident how biased the doctor is because they're all humans. Mickey, Rose, Jackie, they're all humans. But the fact that he favors Rose, and obviously Rose is special, heart.
She's
in my
so
heart,
special.
she is. She is so special. But she's not any different from any other human in theory. She shouldn't be, and the fact that he kind of puts her on this pedestal and treats her like she is so different and not while still berating her and degrading her sometimes for being human. The way that he kind of includes her in his special crowd and then is actually everybody else you fucking suck, even they're literally doing the same thing that Rose probably would do. Asking questions and being whoa, can you do XYZ? Why is Rose special here? Is personal bias much? What's going on?
Seriously. Yeah, their relationship continues to fascinate me. The more episodes that we watch and the more complex it gets, I am just enthralled by it. It no longer seems like a one-note romance. When I first watched
Yes.
it, I was like, oh, the Doctor and Rose, they're cute. I like Rose and they're cute together and whatever. But now it's this is when Mickey is oh, some boyfriend that he turned out to be, and she's he's not a boyfriend, it's more
Yes.
than that. He's better than that. It's different. And she clearly has a romantic interest in him, but she's only known this guy for a couple of days, but it does go deeper than that for her. And when I was watching it, she reminded me of a Disney princess. You know what I mean? You have
Right.
Ariel under the water and she's pining after Prince Eric, but it's not about Prince Eric. It is and it isn't. She wants
Yes.
to be with the cute guy, but she also really wants to be in this world and discover new things and whatnot.
Yes.
And it is not practical for a mermaid to go on land, and she has to go through all this shit in order to be there and to be with him. But
Yes.
she does it despite the fact that it's not practical, despite the fact that she's leaving so many people behind because there's just this thing inside of her that's pulling her towards him and towards what he
Yes.
represents, and that Rose is literally that. She's literally
Yes.
a Disney princess.
Literally, you could write a paper on this. Yes. It's, oh my god. Literally, okay, one of the things that I love about The Little Mermaid is that, and also about Beauty and the Beast, is the thing that's really great about the Ariel comparison, and also I'm going to add Belle in there, is that if you think about the core of their personalities in their movies, the big ballads, the I Want songs that they sing, right? Part of Your World and forget the name of Belle's, but she's I want adventure in the great wide somewhere, whatever. Both of them, it doesn't have anything to do with just finding a guy. Or with Tangled, right? She sings that song where she's I want to go, not be in my tower. I wish I could go see the freaking lanterns.
Mhm.
It just so happens that the guy is the vehicle that gets them to whatever adventure or the human world or seeing the frickin' lanterns, you know. But that's what's really great about that Disney princess comparison because a lot of classic Disney princesses they want so desperately to go beyond the small world that they are stuck in and they just have to like happen to have to use a man as like a vehicle to do it and the fact that they end up falling in love afterwards is, very nice. But it's so much deeper than that, and it's just a great representation of what it is to be a 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old girl. Like,
Yeah.
it's so true. It's so true and relatable and real. And I don't know if any of that like made sense because it was just kind of like blah, but that's so good. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense. It reminds me of when they're like on the rooftop and they're talking and she's just like I've seen so many things and I can't talk about it with anyone and like being with you is like a whirlwind and you know that like she wouldn't trade it for anything,
Yeah.
and that moment is also like I don't want to say undercut, but it's like the build up to the spaceship crash landing and it's like a funny
Yeah.
moment. Like it's hilarious. I love it. But also just thinking about that whole like mini speech she gives. Like imagine being 19 and going through like such formative but like isolating experiences. Like I feel like a
Oh
big
yeah.
part of growing up is the fact that you're trying to find community and a lot of other people are going through the same things that you are at the same
Mhm.
time. And she just doesn't have that with anyone but the doctor who just isn't really
Right.
in the same position that she's in. But
Yeah.
like he
Exactly.
yeah, but he does like really need her. And I feel like the more we see of them together, the more that we like the more his own lack becomes apparent.
Yes.
And I feel like
Yes.
that is also very fascinating because it's not like, oh, this like weird older like creature, like the vampire dilemma that you brought up in a previous episode.
Right.
Like he's not just like taking this like teenage girl for, his own nefarious purposes, although
Right.
I wouldn't blame anyone for initially reading it that way, but he has his own
Right.
shit to work through that Rose, is very like necessary for, just like when it comes to like their own characters. Like when I wrote in my notes, like when he's going into that room at the end of the episode with the alien experts and he's like, I don't go anywhere without her. And he's like really getting
Yeah.
pissed off at the guy
Yeah.
who's saying she doesn't have clearance. And he's like, I can't go anywhere without her. And then you see off to the side when like Harriet Jones is talking. I don't know if you noticed this, but Rose is kind of like
Mhm.
trying to calm the doctor down and being like, it's okay, it's fine.
Yeah, that was like that dynamic of how do I even put it into words? That dynamic of a character who inherently should, by reason of like maturity or like age or experience, like should be better than this, not acting immaturely or like desperately because there's something wrong with them like or they I love that and, like it's so good. It really demonstrates humanity in non-humans in like a really like great way. Like I love
Mm.
that. It's so good. I didn't notice that, but that's a really great detail.
So yeah, I wrote in my notes, I don't go anywhere without my emotional support 19-year-old.
Literally, like literally. It's so true. But yeah. So you really like this episode. What is something that you didn't like about this episode? Like, I mean, obviously the way the doctor's acting, in and of itself, like we're on Mickey's side, but I don't think it's necessarily a dislikable part of the episode. It makes it really interesting. But so, is there anything that you just was like not into?
Honestly, I was just like on board for all of it. Although I will say, I guess, the farting,
That was
like,
a lot for me. That
yeah,
was a lot.
if it had happened like a couple of times, then I would have just like seen it as like part and parcel of the whole like campy vibe of the episode. Like it's silly, whatever, they're farting, but they
Hmm.
just like did not stop farting, and I was like, okay. we get it. Like, you're farting, you're aliens. Like, yeah, we don't need to spend 30 seconds of you guys just like giggling and like farting together and like every single scene you're in. Like, it got to be a bit much.
I agree with you. I thought that it was actually really clever when they had the first guy come in, the like what, the confectionery head
Yeah,
whatever. I
yeah,
loved the bit with the journalist where he's like, really, the least important person right now. It's really great. I thought it was actually really clever that they took something that was just presented as like this, this is just this fucking incompetent guy, like he can't even control his like bowel movements or whatever. And they took that as a, you know, little sign of there being aliens at work, but I agree that it was immediately overdone once they got to the scene with the general, I think.
yeah.
And they take his skin and whatever. Like just that whole they're standing there like, oops, another one. Oh, like guys, go on.
Just like at the end when he's like, "Would you prefer silent but deadly?"
That was it. That was pretty good.
That was really funny.
See, if it had just been the first guy and then maybe like a little bit in that scene with the general to give away that, oh, it wasn't just him being, whatever, it's actually a sign of an alien, and then the
Right.
silent but deadly, that would have been good.
Yeah. Well, I think that now that we've kind of unpacked like the Doctor and like Rose's dynamic in this episode, I think we can kind of like pivot to just discussing like the campy aspects.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because I feel like we both kind of like said that we liked it, and I kind of want to just like dive deeper into it.
Yes, yes. I do want to give a shout out. I mean, I agree with you on basically favorite parts, least favorite parts, but runner up, almost winning out for favorite part. I loved Harriet.
Yes.
She, even before like she became a key part of the episode, when she first came in, she was like, Harriet, MP, whatever the fuck. And they
Crying
had that.
wolf.
She and the guy, I don't know what his position was, but the one who was like, you don't have clearance. When they had that like catty little exchange, and then she was like, I bought you coffee. And he was like, you still can't go in. I just loved that. I'm like, damn. And the fact that she was kind of like an older woman, I also really liked. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I love this character. And oh my god, Rose comforting her, like after she was explaining about the aliens, it was like, wow, human connection is so crazy. But yeah, that was just, I wanted to give a shout out to the snooper, Harriet. She was awesome.
Okay, yeah, I am so glad that you liked Harriet. I think that for a lot of fans, and please correct me if I'm wrong, any potential
Hmm.
listeners or whatever, but the bright point of this episode is Harriet. Like, she is a big fan favorite.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah. So, I feel like even though this episode kind of gets a lot of flack because of like the farting and like the slitheen, like Harriet Jones is like that bitch.
Yeah, she really is.
Okay.
I love women.
Me too. No, because we never really, what you said about her being an older woman, I wasn't thinking about it, but yeah, we never see like older women in media unless they're like evil hags. And like Jackie's there, but like the doctor's also like constantly making fun of her for being like shrill and like making things
Yeah.
like quote domestic. So
Yeah.
it's
And
nice.
she's definitely, sorry, yeah. She's definitely a character archetype, like the nagging mother. Like maybe not necessarily a hag, but you see
Right.
that everywhere. But
Yeah.
anyway, what were you gonna say?
No, yeah. I wanted to just I feel like this episode has a lot of nods to like campy, like B movie, like sci-fi horror. The way that either the doctor's like in the room with like the army guys, and then they hear like the scream in the background and the blue like flashing lights whenever like the aliens
Hmm.
are revealing themselves. The
Yeah.
even like the cliffhanger, it ends on like the aliens like evil cackle, and like we don't even see what they really look like until the end of the episode. And when we do see what they
Yes.
look like, they are so stereotypically like alien with like a twist, but like
Yeah.
like I just like loved that. I loved how it totally leaned into just like crazy like sci-fi conventions and like also shout out I don't even know if she's like given a name, but she's like the alien like doctor lady like in the
Oh,
morgue.
yeah. She was wearing those heels. I saw them. I saw the cunty heels.
She was great. I love when she is like standing in the hallway as the TARDIS fades and like there's
Yes.
like winds like blowing like her doctor's coat back and like
Yes.
just everything about that. Like when she hears like the thumping in the container that they're keeping like the fake alien in, and she's like slowly moving towards it, and the music is swelling, and like everything is like washed in blue light, and
Yes.
it's so good. And when she says like it's alive, it's so good. Loved it. It was so fun.
Yeah. That was awesome. Wow. I will say that the alien designs. I really loved like the suspense and, as you were saying, like the really classic like sci-fi horror of just the reveal of like the zippers and the blue light coming. Oh my God, that was great. The fact that you don't see this terrible thing that is stealing people's skin and like wearing it, that was just awesome. But then when they revealed it at the end, I was like, oh, they're fine. Like, I don't hate them. Like, don't get, I don't hate them, but I don't know.
I
I don't know. They could have like played more with like the gas thing, like being more related to the way they looked, I felt.
mhm.
I mean, obviously we already had like gas aliens in the last episode, but like they could have been, I don't know. I don't know how I would have done it better, but I was kind of like, "Oh, they look
Those are aliens.
ET gone wrong, perhaps."
Yeah.
But I did like the campiness of it at the end when in all three places you have the aliens like revealing themselves and like especially Jackie crouching down in the corner and being like ah
Yeah,
like that was
yeah.
really good. But I did write in my notes, I was like, they better not do anything to Jackie or I'll blow up a building.
And she will get compensation.
She will get her workers' comp. Always. Always get the workers' comp. Just everything about this episode. When the spaceship crashed into Big Ben,
Oh
that was
my
really
god.
great.
The big like dong as it crashes is
Yeah.
so good.
The segue, between Rose and the Doctor talking and the ship crashing into the water. When Rose is like, "Are you really 900? Wow, that's one hell of an age gap, girl."
The daddy issues of it all.
Literally the daddy issues of it all.
No judgment, no judgment. We love women with daddy issues and not in a weird way. Like I hope she gets help.
Literally. Friends of the podcast who have daddy issues, you know who you are.
Friend of
I
the
support you and I love
podcast, women
you.
with daddy issues.
And then when they're standing on the bridge and they're like, well, we can't bring the TARDIS in, like, we don't want to mess with continuity. This could be the first time that aliens are making contact. I can't mess it up. Like, the TARDIS is so conspicuous. And Rose is like, well, we could do what everybody else does. Watch it on the TV. That was so good. And just the really cute detail of Jackie inviting more and more people over, like, as the night goes on, like, and then
Yeah.
having a party. That is so, I know so many, like, people's moms who are like that, where they're just like, oh, let's make it an impromptu party. Like, bring your friends. Like, let's have the neighbors over. Like, there's just a random baby.
Yeah.
Like, that's like all of my family gatherings ever. Why is there a baby here? Whose baby is this? I don't know.
There's always a random baby.
Right? Oh, I did actually want to say this is like totally unrelated to what we were just talking about, but it is related to Doctor Who.
Like, like
When,
the theme of the podcast.
yes, the theme of Doctor What? Doctor What's the theme of the podcast? I don't know. But when originally in the episode they do the fake out with the pig head, with like the pig aliens that are not actually aliens, they're just pigs that have like alien tech. My first thought, like straight up, I was like, did they predict? You know how Am I thinking of the right thing? In England, there was some guy, and he might have been the prime minister, but I don't think he was the prime minister. He like fucked the head of a pig
Yes, in Black Mirror.
in Black Mirror, but it actually happened in real life as well.
Wait, that's why they did that in Black Mirror? I thought it was just
Well,
like
no, so
someone was
they
like really
didn't
high and
know.
like
No, wait, hold on.
what?
I'm looking it up. Forgive the keyboard sounds.
Janet's hacking into the main,
I really am.
just like
I'm
the
looking up Black
doctor.
Mirror pig fucking episode controversy.
Very similar to the Aliens of London controversy.
It's quite true. Like, am I like making this up that oh, here we go. The Black Mirror episode that imagined David Cameron's dalliance with a pig. A new biography reports that UK Prime Minister David Cameron, while a student at Oxford, put a private part of his anatomy into the mouth of a dead pig as a hazing ritual. And Black Mirror had that first episode where he fucks a pig.
But they didn't know.
But they didn't know.
When did Black Mirror come out? When was this?
2011.
So what you're telling me is that Doctor Who did it first.
Doctor Who did it first. Of course, they don't fuck the pigs in Doctor Who.
Wow.
But, Sarah?
They don't fuck the pig.
Is this
Imagine like at the
at
like
least
the end credit
not in
scene.
part one?
Yeah.
Could you imagine? That would be crazy. But that was the first thought I had when I saw those pigs. I was like, oh my god, did they predict the David Cameron pig scandal?
Oh my god. Stop.
Because at first, before I realized, over the course of the episode that it was a fake out, I was like, oh my god, no way. And I'm also glad that the pigs were not the actual aliens because it would have been really messed up if, like, I don't know if you noticed this, but, like, all of the characters, like all of the bodies that the Slitheen were inhabiting were heavier people. And then there were all the jokes, like all the farting jokes and stuff. And it would have been like really messed up if they were also like pig aliens. I don't know. Like, were you
Yeah.
thinking? I was thinking about that. I was like, are they about to do what I think they're about to do? Because like that's gonna be really messed up and bad, actually. But then it wasn't. And I was like, okay, whew. You already had me with the homophobia. I don't need the fat phobia too right now.
It's not homophobia if it's Billie Piper.
Wow.
That was so bad.
That is really bad.
I know. Oh god. I'm never coming back from this episode. Episode 5, I'm just like not gonna be there. It's gonna be like a Weekend at Bernie situation. Like you can just like puppet. You can just like pretend that like I'm the one who's speaking and just like take control of like my mouth. It's fine.
Okay. Oh my god, I'll be just like the Slitheen!
Oh my god, yes! No, yeah, that's such a good segue because they control the bodies. No, when Harriet Jones is in the closet and she's like holding like the skin, that's so obviously some Spirit
my
Halloween like
God.
mask.
It's really quite good. I mean, the zipper is ingenious, I think. Like, yeah, not ingenious, but when they first start like opening up their foreheads, you can't see the zipper, or at least I didn't see the zipper. So I was like, oh my god, like they're literally slicing their foreheads open. This is so cool. And then you see that it has a fucking zipper on the inside of the skull. Just so funny. Absolutely hilarious. Oh
Dude,
man.
I want to climb inside of Russell T Davies' mind and just kind of like splosh around and see what's going on in there. Like,
Oh, and zipper yourself in.
and zipper myself into
Sarah, are you the Slitheen? Oh my god. The noise. Are you a Slitheen? But yeah, is there anything else that you want to talk about? I think I've gone through pretty much all of my notes.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Wow, that was such a great episode for both meanings of the word. The episode that we watched and also the episode that we recorded. I had a really great time, and I can't wait to see part 2 and the cliffhanger.
Yes, I am so fucking excited. Oh my god, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a time.
Ha 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 ha. So tune in next time for Ooh Wee Ooh.
Meow, meow.
Doctor What?